This session of First Reads is dedicated to a poem in Stone Coast Review. With First Reads, I just do a first reading of a poem I've never read before by a poet I don't know or know very little about for the sheer joy of it. I picked these at random, so this one is Stone Coast Review. I actually don't know the Stone Coast Review that well. It's called A Blackthorn Pond. I'm not sure whether the picture is that or just specifically a pond with a lily pad. It's by Neil Flatman. It looks like a boxy little poem. I'd say it was sonnet-like, but it clearly doesn't have enough lines to be a sonnet. It's got fairly long lines for a poem. This might not seem like it to those of you who don't read poems that often, but it's actually a good number of syllables. Let's see. Late sun longing through the knuckles of the black thorns. That's 12, so it's on the longer end of a standard line length. Thorns, ferns, autumn, look now. Many cracks. All right, so I'm assuming it's a kind of open form because there's not a clear rhyme scheme, and the form itself is kind of clear and open, even though it's boxy. So Neil Flatman, let me just read it and see where to go from there. Late sun longing through the knuckles of the blackthorns by the pond. It's an odd little line because the late sun longing through. You usually see the late sun pokes through or shines through or something, but the longing through brings up the question of like who's doing the longing. Is it just late sun and there's supposed to be a comma and it's saying longing, so the narrator's longing through the knuckles of the blackthorns by the pond, or is it the late sun itself is kind of longing through? I don't know when I read it what it is. It's kind of an open one. We have the spark afterwards. The spark, is the spark the sunshine coming through of the late sun, or is it the longing? I'm not sure. The copperheads of ferns bow down with what remaining dignity they hold. So the ferns bow down in the late sun with the remaining dignity they hold. So, I would assume there's a shadow or something cast that kind of look like that. And if you see ferns as they curl up, as they come to open, they look like they're bowed down a little bit. I'm assuming the narrator's playing around with that image a little bit. It's a very, very nature-oriented image at this point. Autumn's flown, so autumn's gone. Longer days dissolved, fast as a winter's breath. Longer days gone, or dissolved, the winter's breath. Surely that's the memory, real or not, you search for in the book of all wonder the world's too broken to contain. There's this image, this clear image of this sun coming through the blackthorns, the ferns bowing down. They're like little monks or something with heads. And it's something you, like a memory, you search for, but it's not there. And I'm not sure who the you is. It's you talking, the narrator talking to himself. Is the you somebody else the narrator is talking to? We don't really know yet. The you doesn't get the answer in this one. But you search for this image and this book of all wonder, but the world doesn't have such a book. You want it to. You want to be able to search in memory and find it, but it's not there. It's just this nice, pretty image, and at this Blackthorn Pond that in itself is one out of a million images you could find in nature that's very similar. I know too many synonyms for longing. So we come back to longing in the beginning. It seemed like an important word in that first line. And we're coming back to this. The synonyms for longing. Is it the sun coming through the bushes, or the narrator having the sense of longing in nature, with this experience? I'm not really sure. But there are many synonyms for it, right? For longing itself. Can't tell you how many times I've had to pull up roots. I don't know exactly clearly what's going on here. Can't tell you how many times I've had to pull up roots. Since we're in forest, it could be pulling up actual roots of plants. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had to pull up roots, and if you're trying to get rid of a plant that has its roots there, you want to pull them all up so that it doesn't come back. But also it could be pulling up roots in terms of that, idiomatic moving sense. I can't tell you how often I've had to pull up roots, personal roots, to go somewhere else. It's hard to say. Related to longing, how you have these memories of places that are no longer there, that are wondrous and there, but they're gone, and it's very hard to share them sometimes with somebody else because they were such personal experiences of the miraculous wonder that can happen in nature. Repeat the season till it cracks, until it can't say what it is, just what it wants. I'm not sure what repeat. Repeat the season, like have the season keep happening until it can't again. So it's just like a memory that's being replayed from the poet until it can't say what it is, it's just what it wants. So this kind of sense of longing, the season longs for something, like back to that longing from the first line again. Is it the season itself? Is it nature longing for something, or is the person in the memory of the season longing? I'm not really sure at this point what it is. It's an interesting image. I think if you wanted to read this as from a non-human perspective, this gets complicated and I think fascinating if read that way. I think I'd have to read more of the poet's work to know how to do that. Or is it supposed to be read in a kind of personal human way, and then it kind of opens up as a different kind of story? Neil Flatman, it's definitely worthwhile taking a look at other work by Neil Flatman to see kind of what happens.